Part 34, Pretentiousness and Deviations. Listen to a part of the sayings from Spiritual Energies with the topic, Pretentiousness, by Lubisha Stoyanovich, who transferred the sayings received in deep meditation into the book, Enlightenment. The theme and meaning of pretentiousness was conveyed to Lubisha by the mature luminous body of Plato back in 2009. Today's topic will seem strange to you. It's about the fact that, no matter how people think that they are the most intelligent, not only on Earth, but also in the cosmos, they don't expect to find a civilization that is at least approximately as developed as human, but they still try, of course unsuccessfully, and you know why. Nevertheless, in this wish and hope, in this undertaking in which billions of dollars have been invested, is reflected the human belief that there is another civilization in the cosmos, that there are other beings, among which it is possible to find an intelligent civilization. However, people are not only wrong in that, because as you know, human civilization is at the bottom of the scale of developed civilizations in the cosmos, but it is about that pretentiousness, that conceit represents one of the basic human traits, one of the basic flaws. It threw human civilization out of paradise, when they imagined they could replace the Creator. That is, therefore, that primordial negative line that could not be destroyed, blocked, neutralized, even at the time when people were at the peak of their development, in the second dimension, in paradise, when they reached the level of the most developed civilizations in the world. What is the cause of that overbearing trait in the human psyche, in the human way of thinking? Much earlier, before human civilization managed to develop to reach the second dimension, people lived in the sixth dimension, a peaceful, decent, pleasant life, without friction, without problems. Then, in a smaller number of people, in an almost family, a group of relatives, there was the development of a pretentious trait, which did not normally exist among people. It's one of the deviations that happen in nature. Already in the first generation, this small group of people managed to stand out among their modest, peaceful compatriots to such an extent that they managed to occupy some of the high positions even then. Already in the next couple of generations, they were the most famous family in the entire human civilization. They were pretentious, enterprising, they managed to impose themselves, they also had their results, so they were not hollow, but they were extremely overbearing, which was never a feature of the human race. From generation to generation, they became more and more powerful, they occupied top positions in politics, economy, in everything. It must be admitted that their self-confidence, being sure in themselves, in what they were doing helped enormously to move human civilization gradually to the fifth, and then to the fourth dimension, so that after thousands of years this pretentiousness, as a feature, would become synonymous with the progress of the human race, a sign of equality, because they, as the leading people in the country, managed to present their flaw as a supreme virtue, which ensured the development of human civilization towards higher dimensions. Of course, that was not the only and main reason, but it was definitely one of several main reasons. When people reached the third dimension through their development, then this flaw already represented a kind of virtue, they considered it an exceptional trait, an advantage, and the more powerful it was in some people, the more promising, powerful they looked, they represented leaders. Finally, by entering the second dimension, into paradise, due to the exceptional harmony with the will of the Creator, this human flaw was significantly alleviated, reduced to some decoration, to rhetoric, to charm, and less to a real feature. But one day, a few thousand years before the expulsion from paradise, a small group of people, in whom this pretentiousness was especially pronounced, began to think, because of their pretentiousness, about some independent activity in the cosmos, considering that they had grown up, matured to do something on their own, independent of the Creator or anyone else. They indeed had supreme powers, but their fatal mistake led to the catastrophe of the human community. Considering the long life of people in paradise, they managed to create one nucleus, very compact, very powerful, in a few generations, which actively worked on the creation of a special cosmos, their own cosmos in which they would play the role of creator, not only in the creation of certain energies, but also directing them toward specific goals that they themselves have outlined. Ever since their first acts of this kind, the Creator, not reacting while they were thinking about it, but only when they started to act, counted that it would pass them by, that they would overcome it, and was ready to forgive them. However, they made their work more and more intense. Then the Creator warned them, directly, begged them to stop doing that, to keep clear of bad business, that they do not do what is forbidden. Among those who were in the group, a small part listened to the advice of the Creator and withdrew from the group, leaving, not without regret, that others continue the work. Therefore, they withdrew, but they were not convinced that they should do so, they simply did not have the courage to continue. However, the remaining part of the group, which amounted to a few % of the total population on Earth, continued with their activities, not paying any attention to what the Creator said, explaining their actions by saying that this is also the development of the cosmos, that this is also in accordance with the principle of the development of the cosmos, and that there should not be only one center in the cosmos, but several that will give more diverse and better results. So they were so self-confident, so overbearing that they thought that what they were creating would give better results and effects than the functioning of the cosmos that the Creator created. At the end of that generation of people, the Creator was no longer ready to wait, he was no longer ready to plead with them, he just announced to them, "Stop the work that is contrary to my will." This, his most serious warning, was accepted by only a fraction of the people involved in this project. All the others continued, ignoring the request of the Creator. It was clear to the Creator that he could not separate this group from other people and somehow dislocate it, because the line of overbearing was already embedded genetically in all people, more or less. For this reason, he decided to lower human civilization, the human race, to the lowest possible level, the lowest, the 13th dimension from which no action would be possible, for the simple reason that on that dimension they would not have any serious paranormal powers, and that through suffering, sacrifices and suffering, they are enabled to progress gradually and to return, where they were, to paradise, with a genetic change that almost completely removed that human overbearing trait, so that it no longer comes to the fore, it is no longer significant component in human behavior. However, as it used to be, when the first signs of pretentiousness appeared, as a consequence of some deviation in the development of individual people, it is still observed today, although in a very small number of people, that this trait of overbearing is significantly above the human average, which is otherwise not problematic. This represents an alarm signal that iron is forged while it is hot, and that this development should be stopped and these genes should be neutralized and removed from all persons in whom it is above a mild, general human level, and to bring in their place certain traits that will characterize these people as modest, gentle, withdrawn, calm and inconspicuous citizens. The treasury of sacred knowledge is grateful for your interest and sends you a lot of spiritual patience and love.